Welcome to the Horizon League, another one of those leagues turned upside down here during championship week, which is presented by 7-Up. We've got the number 5 and the number 6 seed in an all-Chicago matchup here in Cleveland tonight. Illinois, Chicago beating number 3 Milwaukee and then number 2 Detroit. Loyola, Chicago, well, they didn't have to play number 1 Butler because they were gone in the first round. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman, John Albright with you. This all-Chicago matchup. These are kids really who have known each other, well, since they were kids. And in one specific case, we've got two opponents who have known each other their entire lives. The starting point guards, David Bailey and Martell Bailey, they're brothers.
Well, the Bailey brothers will have a big influence on the outcome of this ball game. For UIC, it's Martell. His job is to distribute. Pass the basketball off. He had 7 assists in their semifinal win over Detroit last night. Older brother David, he's the leading scorer, better than 21 points per outing for Loyola. First team all-conference performer, but he must play under control for them to have a chance with the automatic bid.
The Bailey brothers were teammates in high school at Westinghouse, a power school in the public league in Chicago, along with Cedric Banks, who is now the leading scorer for the University of Illinois at Chicago. Keep an eye on the inside for Loyola. Keep an eye on Ryan Blankson, a 6'6" senior out of Hillcrest, Illinois, the leading rebounder by a wide margin in the Horizon League this year. Look at the coaches. Jimmy Collins at the helm of UIC. Larry Farmer first at the helm of Loyola, a former great at UCLA, won 3 national championships playing for the Bruins under John Wooden back in the 70s. And Jimmy Collins with an equally impressive resume, an All-American player at New Mexico State. Boy, he looks wound pretty tight heading into this game. This is big stuff for both of these schools. Illinois, Chicago with just one previous trip to the NCAA tournament. That was as an at-large in 1998. Loyola's got some great history going further back, national champs back in 1963, but they have not been to the tournament since 1985. So somebody's going home happy here tonight. It's Loyola in yellow and UIC in black. Loyola technically the home team by virtue of being the higher seed. They're the 5 seed. And UIC comes in as the 6 seed. This is Martell Bailey, his brother not guarding him right now. Lewis Smith guarding him. Jordan Cardos into the paint, misses the shot. And there's the first of many rebounds for Mr. Blankson.
We'll see a lot of man-to-man from both clubs, almost exclusively from UIC. But don't be surprised if we see some zones, some different things from Loyola to slow down Martell Bailey's penetration.
And Martell not on David either. Blankson can't get a move. Here is David Bailey, leading scorer in the conference at 21 points per game. Misses his first shot and the rebound to Banks.
Patience also going to be very important for UIC. They don't have to take the first shot that they see. Jimmy Collins really talked about being selective. They know the shots they want to take and don't force out of the half-court set.
Here's Cardos, a great outside shooter. He's been in the top 10 in the country all season long. And UIC as a team is 8th in the nation in three-point shooting, better than 40%. Martell Bailey nowhere near the basket. And back come the Ramblers of Loyola. David Bailey, who loves to push it, finds Freeman at the elbow, and finally somebody's on the board as Loyola jumps on top.
Good job by David Bailey. He didn't force the shot, looked for the secondary break, so his teammate Freeman open for an easy jump shot.
These two teams split during the regular season, each winning on its home floor. They have never met in postseason play before.
Solverson's hurt.
Yep. Thor Solverson, the big man in the middle for UIC, is going to come out and get a little medical attention.
That's a big blow because he's been a big factor inside. 12 boards, career high in both games in the regular season against Loyola.
Armand Williams comes in, so a 6'10" guy goes out and a 6'5" guy comes in, and now the Flames are very small.
That opens up for our guard. It's on display tonight. We've got several of them that can fill it up.
Good block by Freeman on the drive by Cardos. And again, just to drive the point home, 9 of the 10 starters in this game, Freeman's the exception, come from the state of Illinois. These two teams play pickup games all summer. They're from the same neighborhoods. Pickup, AAU, you name it. They've known each other for years and years.
Yeah, I think Freeman and Cardos, as you mentioned, have probably seen one another in the summer. Knew his move.
One of the SID sports information directors mentioned to me today, he's seen this game 100 times, just never with this much at stake. But this is what they do all summer. One Bailey brother brings his team, and the other Bailey brother brings his team, and they go at it.
And they said it's about 50-50. Loyola wins half of them, and UIC wins the other half.
Martell Bailey at the line, sophomore, sat out last year to concentrate on academics. Second in the conference in assists this year. You can see that neither brother shot well in the 2 games between these 2 teams this year. Although, as you mentioned, David Bailey's much more of a scorer. Martell Bailey more of a distributor.
Yeah, Bailey, Martell, UIC, 7.5 assists per outing. That's more important for him.
Freeman, long jumper, no good. And the long rebound to Cedric Banks. Dishes it off to Martell. He'll pull up just inside the 3-point line. Missed the shot, and Armand Williams keeps it alive. A travel to call on Martell. So we just call them by their first names the rest of the way to keep it simpler?
I think we're going to have to do that. Loyola very concerned about Martell's penetration. They're doing a lot of things to slow that penetration capability down tonight.
Both brothers very competitive, especially Martell. Both brothers desperately want to win this game, not to beat down the other brother, just to get their team into the tournament.
If you have siblings, the worst thing you can ever do is lose to them.
Little give and go. David Bailey inside, got it to go. Generously listed at 5'8". He has still managed to score 21 points per game this year.
And again, first team all-conference performer. He's averaging better than 21 points per tilt.
Martell a couple of inches taller, a little bit stronger, about 10 pounds heavier.
And you can really see how Loyola is clogging out those lanes. They're going to force shots from the outside. Little big shot. He hits some big threes in their semifinal win. Very important for them to be able to hit some outside shots to loosen up that interior defense.
3-pointer for Little, and UIC takes the lead. Again, keep an eye on the Flames from the perimeter. That's their bread and butter. Loyola, more of an offensive rebounding second chance kind of team. Smith with a dump down inside, and Langston gets it to go. Another guy with a family connection, his brother Odarte Langston, good player up in Marquette.
Well, what a year Marquette's had. Solid season for Tom Crane.
Headed to the tournament.
Absolutely.
Banks, it's Little again, a little bit long. Freeman discards Armand Williams. Right now, Freeman at 6'7", 220, the biggest guy on the floor. 3 long in the corner. Cardos the rebound, and we've got a hold underneath. Looks like it's going to go against Martell Bailey.
And Bailey and Blankson were hooked up underneath. Man, very impressed so far with David Bailey and his unselfish play. He has not forced a shot. He's been comfortable distributing the basketball. When his initial shot's not there, he's not forcing it. Both teams struggling a little bit. Maybe some adrenaline. Maybe each team trying to play a little too hard. Cold shooting to start off.
Bailey off to Clancy, and what a roll he got. It's a 3 for Kevin Clancy, a junior from where else? Chicago.
Right, we got an all-Chicago final in Cleveland.
Yep. Teams that were expected to be here more along the lines of Butler, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Detroit. But it's Illinois, Chicago, and Loyola, Chicago who are here as Little drives and is fouled on the floor. Loyola with an early lead as we step aside for the first time tonight. The battle of the Bailey brothers has begun, and David's team is on top early.
Championship Week continues tonight on ESPN and ESPN2.
When reviewing the Lexus LS430, Automobile Magazine said, no car in this class has more inviting leather, a more comfortable ride, a superior stereo, or a more logical navigation system. Perhaps this is why, for the second year in a row, Automobile Magazine has named the LS430 the best luxury car over $40,000. To its owners, it's the best luxury sedan in the world. The LS430 at your Lexus dealer.
We don't have to insist on 100% pure beef, but we do. We don't have to insist on only the highest quality ingredients, but we do. Why? Because sometimes doing more than you have to is the absolute right thing to do.
Thanks for the hookup, yo.
No problem.
They're promoting Sports Center. They're promoting a season on the brink. We'll get to those a little bit later on. But we want to promo Championship Week presented by 7-Up. More bids on the line tonight. The Sun Belt Championship comes your way next year on ESPN. Chris Marcus in Western Kentucky taking on the Ragin' Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette. And then over on ESPN 2, 9:30 Eastern tonight, it's the Mid-Continent Championship. The Jaguars of IUPUI taking on Valpo. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. And look at the brackets in the Mid-Continent Conference. As you can see, Valpo, the #1 seed. And well, there's another 6. IUPUI making it all the way to the championship game. And it wouldn't be championship week this year if we didn't have a 5, a 6, or a 7. Siena last night winning their conference tournament. And go figure.
Got to have some surprises. And we will.
Certainly had some in this conference where everybody expected Butler to be the class of the field if they were going to get challenged. Maybe Detroit, maybe Wisconsin, Milwaukee, but got the 5 and the 6 here tonight. Cardo's 10-footer from the baseline, no good, and another rebound for Blankson, averaging almost 10 rebounds per game this year.
1 for 7 right now from the field for UIC. Just very, very cold. Can't find the basket.
Good position inside for Lewis Smith. Might have had a little more space than he thought. The tie-up. And on the alternating possession, the arrow will keep it with the Ramblers.
Larry Farmer used a little bit of motivation preseason. His team was picked last. He only used it once during the regular season, but he did remind his team when they got here that some other people didn't think they'd be here.
Dead last, 9th out of 9. Another tie-up, and now the arrow's going to turn it over to UIC. The Ramblers last year won only 7 games. Jimmy Collins' team about where they were expected to be, middle of the pack. Here in the Horizon League, which is the former Midwestern Collegiate Conference. Same conference, just a new name this year to distinguish themselves. And for the way some of their top teams have played in recent years, they have distinguished themselves. Butler demolishing Wake in the tournament last year. Detroit with recent tournament wins over UCLA and St. John's. This is a quality league. Freeman, jumper, too strong. And the rebound to Williams. Dan Shulman, John Albright with you here in Cleveland. Championship game of the Horizon League. Martell Bailey is fouled on his way to the basket. All part of Championship Week presented by 7-Up. And again, the big story here, we've got an all-Chicago matchup. And even digging deeper than that, we've got Martell Bailey, starting point guard for UIC. David Bailey, starting point guard for Loyola. David's a junior. Martell's a sophomore. And there's going to be some serious bragging by somebody at the end of the game tonight. They visited with John very, very briefly before the game here tonight.
Courteous, and that was it. No elaboration there. Know what they're each here for. But another Chicago native that's got to get involved is Cedric Banks. He's had no field goal attempts. He leads the team in scoring, averaged 26 points a game in 2 regular season meetings. He's got to be an offensive factor. He has had no attempts to this point.
Subs for Loyola, that's Silvio Turkovic, 6'10 senior from Croatia into the game. Also for the Ramblers, Corey Minifield, a 6'8 junior from Chicago, who has really helped them here in the tournament. Both teams have gotten some great performances off their benches here to help them get to the championship game. Bailey baseline, and Cardos commits the foul.
Bailey's quickness is going to be a problem for Cardos. Cardos is taller, good leaping ability.
#1 on Cardos, second team. Bailey, first team all-league for the second year in a row. There apparently was never a whole lot of consideration for the Bailey brothers to play at the same school. They did in high school, but each wanting to establish their own thing, each playing point, and I can understand that.
Absolutely. Don't always follow in your older brother's footsteps. Want to start your own path, and that's exactly what Martell did.
Got some busloads of students who made the trip from Chicago, about 300 miles away, to come in here to the Convocation Center in Cleveland. Neutral site tournament, as it has been for many, many years. Cardos finds a little room on the baseline, gets his man in the air, and knocks it down.
Now that's a good sign. Cardos has got to have some offensive highlights. Had a big night in the semifinal win. Hit some threes. Better than 20 points in the semifinal win.
24 to be exact against Detroit. UIC had probably the tougher road in getting here, playing Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and Detroit, the number 3 and number 2 seeds. Bailey trying to shake Banks, can't do it. And Turkovic down low over Salverson, who has checked back into the game for UIC. Air ball, and here comes Cardos. Salverson, more of a screener and a passer than a scorer. Bailey gave it right back to him. He says, come on, take it, big fella.
I think if you're not going to score, you got to at least be a threat. The defense has to buy in that you're going to look to score.
And this foul is going to go against Loyola as Little takes the charge.
Little with a tough play, and we'll go the other way.
Foul on Minifield, 11-8 for Loyola. 7 minutes into the game. We expected to get a little bit more high scoring than this. Both teams
Maybe a little tight still. Yeah. The effort's been fine. That's not the problem. That's not an issue. Execution sometimes takes a little while to get started. Only 3 turnovers per side. We hadn't seen many transition opportunities.
Cardos off some screens, try to get their best shooter open. It will stay with UIC. Into the game for Loyola. We're going to give this a shot. Vasilis Shiblaridis. How's that?
I'm going with Voss.
Voss.
Which is what he's known by his teammates.
Everybody calls him Voss, and we're going to play along. A junior from Greece. And now, right now, for the first time, we have the Bailey brothers on one another. David, a defending Martell, who tries to take Big Brother right away, misses the shot of the rebound to Minifield.
Well, I love the two brothers. It's been Martell who's forced the issue more times than older brother David to this point.
Now David tries to answer, gives it up to Clancy, gets it back. Now he's got a step on Martell. The floater won't go. Similar to the numbers put up in the first 2 meetings between these two teams. Both brothers shot a lot, but didn't shoot particularly well. Cardos, no. And the rebound to Clancy.
And Banks has got to find a way to get involved in the offense. We're nearly halfway through the first half. He's had no shot opportunities. Leads the team in scoring.
As you mentioned, 52 points in the 2 games against Loyola this year.
Man-to-man defensively for UIC.
Here's Chivlaridis. Gets the roll. And you look at the way his name is spelled. It doesn't look anything like Chivlaridis, but it's Chivlaridis or Voss again. It's the easiest way to say it.
Checked it 2 or 3 times today to make sure.
There's Cardos off the screen.
Tough shot.
Loose ball, and Turkovic has it for the Ramblers. 5-point lead and the ball for Loyola.
Oh, nice move by Bailey. Big time
rotation, and he gets the roll. Timeout taken by UIC. The team picked for last in the conference preseason finds itself here in the championship game with an early 7-point lead on UIC.
Solid move, hesitation, and the explosion. Uses the rim to ward off the defender. Nice move by David Bailey. Again, a little hesitation, gets Martell to relax just for a minute. Uses the rim to stop the defender. Heads up play by David Bailey.
6 early points for Bailey, who's averaging better than 21 per game this season. Tops in the conference. And Loyola, a team that came into this game, worried about UIC a little bit. They're looking pretty good. Linda Riley, mom of Martell and David. We're going to attempt to speak to Linda a little bit later on. I mean, what kind of a night, what kind of emotions is she going through here tonight?
She seems to be fairly relaxed. That may be a false front, but seems to have it under control at this point. She'll congratulate one and cajole the other.
Yeah. Jonathan Schneiderman now in at the point for UIC as Martell, Bailey, has gone to the bench. Kyle Kickard off the bench as well for the Flames. Pretty deep team.
Now you got a 1-2-2 zone right now that Loyola's employing and trying to stop that penetration, keep everything on the perimeter.
Little kicks it out over the head of Schneiderman. And look at Minifield get down the floor at 6'8" and end up drawing the foul. He could have given up and just taken possession on the over and back, but great hustle by Corey Minifield.
Well, he knows what's at stake.
A spot in the big dance, and the Ramblers try to prove they belong. An early 7-point lead on the Flames.
A lot of companies put out promotional calendars. Great idea for 7-Up. But instead of models, I've decided to use the 7-Up truck drivers. Not that good. Oh, genius. Sexy, kind of.
This tax season, millions of Americans who use tax preparation software are going to bed early thanks to IRS e-file. It's accurate, secure, fast. Just sign electronically and hit the send button.
And what do we get?
And you get your refund in half the time. So delete the paperwork and hit send with the IRS e-file and get some sleep.
I'm a regular guy, but sometimes I can be such a dunce. Like when I go on vacation. I always wonder if I'm paying too much for the rental car. Then I heard about the Dollar Rent-A-Car website at dollar.com. The rates were so good, I couldn't contain my excitement. Saving money was so quick and easy, and wow, my Dollar rental car was right at the airport. Next time, you know where to go.
For all your document imaging solutions that come in all shapes and sizes, just like your needs. Think inside the box. Think Savin.
Welcome back to Cleveland. Dan Shulman, John Albright with you. The championship game of the Horizon League. Championship week presented by 7-Up. 7-point lead for the Ramblers over the Flames in this all-Chicago affair. And Illinois-Chicago, John, really struggling to put the ball in the basket early.
Dan still seem a little bit tight. They're struggling shooting less than 20% from the field. That's 2 of 13. They've got to find a way to get into a group, get some confidence. Still plenty of time.
And again, these two teams so familiar with one another. Not only the home and home they play every year in conference, but also all the summer games, and all these kids being from Chicago, just about all of them. They've known each other for years and years. And pretty much the second unit for both teams on the floor right now. Both coaches like to go deep. Minifield off to Freeman, and he knocks it down, and it's all Loyola right now. The lead's up to 9.
Now, this is an important possession for UIC. They really need to get a good look. Cedric Banks, again, 14 points a game. We're halfway through the first half. He has not had an attempt. Find a way to get him involved.
Really baffling. Jean-Pierre Mitchell, J.P. Mitchell into the game now for the Flames. Banks is on the floor, sneaking around down on the baseline.
Both teams run a lot of screens, a lot of movement away from the ball, trying to rug people off screens to get them open.
Here's Mitchell for 3.
Big basket. Very important score for UIC. As slow a start as they've had, Dan, they're only down by 6. If you're Jimmy College, you take it to the locker room, only down by a couple possessions, you have to feel fortunate.
Backdoor attempt doesn't work, and it's turned over to the Flames. Jonathan Schneiderman in at the point now for UIC. Both Bailey brothers on the bench right now. David is getting set to check back in. Turnovers even.
Here's isolation for Banks.
Ooh, good help there by Freeman, but he gets called for the foul. Wow, I have to get another look at that one. Well, as we do, we're going to bring in the most important person in the building tonight, the most influential, and maybe the most nervous person in the building as well. There's Mom, Linda Riley, the mother of David and Martell Bailey. Can you hear us, Mom? What are you going through right now? Is this a dream come true?
Yes, it is.
Who are you rooting for?
Both teams.
You know, it can't end that way. What have the kids been like? What have David and Martell been like the last couple of days? Have they been nervous about playing one another in a championship game?
Well, I haven't really talked to them just for a minute. So I don't even think they visit each other. I walked to the hotel, but I didn't get to see neither one of them.
Now, Linda, I want to ask you a question. When they were growing up and they had some disagreements about who was fouling in the backyard, did they defer to you for arbitration?
No.
They didn't get you in the middle of it, huh?
No.
Well, Linda, tell us, Martell's a year younger, but he's also a little bigger and stronger, and we hear he has quite a competitive streak in him. Is this game as big as any game they've ever played in for both kids right now?
I think so.
You bring some family with you from Chicago?
Oh, lots of family.
Lots of them?
Yes.
And we notice as we look, nobody's wearing either UIC or Loyola, so on the outside at least.
Very politically correct at this stage.
Everybody is neutral. There's Banks getting involved with a three, and UIC is right back into it. Well, Mom, enjoy. We know it's going to work out for you either way. Have fun tonight.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Linda Riley, the mother of David Bailey, the starting point guard on Loyola, and Martell Bailey, the starting point guard for UIC.
Understand what she's going through.
You've been there with your three brothers.
I understand, yep. Dad always said he's pulling for the winner. Just stand in line.
That way he's undefeated.
That's right, Mom, no commitment.
Langston on the glass and a block from behind by 6'8", 265 Kyle Kickert. Schneiderman, a good look for three. Too long. But Kickert comes up with the offensive rebound. Schneiderman again. And suddenly UIC has the lead on a 10-0 run right now, and it's timeout Loyola.
Well, it's the substitutes that have come up. Kickert with a big rebound, and Schneiderman missed his first attempt. Kickert got the rebound, gave him a second chance. And Schneiderman with a big three. And finally, UIC has gotten all the way back. Jimmy Collins slightly enthused on the sideline.
You just love to have that second look from the exact same place, don't you?
Absolutely. Again, good look. Schneiderman this time finds the range. And again, this is a very good three-point shooting team. They've been cold tonight, but on the season, top 10 in the NCAA.
And Kyle Kickert, the big man who just came off the bench, has become a very important factor for the Flames here in this tournament, playing as much and contributing more, at least statistically, than the starter, Thor Salverson. And at this level of basketball, mid-major, you don't find many guys as big as this guy.
No, when he sets a solid screen, you don't go through it, you go around it. Again, Kickert in the middle. It gives him some solid depth sidewise, and Kickert again with the redirection.
Langston dishes it off underneath, and this time it looks like Kickert's going to get called for the foul.
Right on cue.
Yep. First personal on Kickert, and Turkovic is going to go to the line for the Ramblers. He's taller than Kickert, and even though he's not a real skinny guy, he still can't match up physically with Kickert. I don't know that anybody can in this game. 85% free throw shooter on the season. Didn't look like it there, as you can see some of the busloads of folks the Ramblers have brought with them from Chicago. The Flames have done the same. Really bragging rights at stake in Chicago with the winner going on to the tournament. Turkovic ties it and will step aside. 7:35 to play. Championship game, Horizon League here in Cleveland.
People want to win.
On Sunday, March 10th.
They want those national championship banners.
Everybody's playing their own game out there. Don't you kids get it?
The first original motion picture from ESPN.
Playing my game is what got you here.
Brian Dennehy is Bobby Knight.
I had to sit around for a year with a losing record? I'm not going to let you people do that to me.
A season on the brink. Premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Step up to big savings on Keller fiberglass ladders from Menards. They're the choice of pros because they're stronger, sturdier, and won't conduct electricity. A 6-foot step ladder is on sale just $36.99. A 16-foot extension ladder is only $99. Brighten up the night with Sylvania Outdoor Halogen Flood Bulbs. They last up to 25% longer than standard floods. 2 packs are $4.99 after $3 rebate. Switch on big savings at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Keep connected locally when you log on to attbroadbandnetwork.com. attbroadbandnetwork.com provides you with a comprehensive look at AT&T Broadband's original programming, including exclusive coverage of area high school sports. Now you can access our network programming schedule by simply typing in your zip code. attbroadbandnetwork.com also provides you with exclusive video highlights, community events listings, monthly contests, and much more. attbroadbandnetwork.com, your local connection.
At 18 with a spot in the big dance on the line, a major tournament begins tomorrow. The Big East Championship, the league where maybe more needs to be decided than in any other conference in the country. It's the Conagra Foods Big East Championship. 4 games tomorrow on ESPN, beginning with Boston College Rutgers, BC bubble, Georgetown Providence. Hoyas need a couple of wins to be on the bubble and maybe try to sneak their way in. Then a doubleheader in the evening as well. Syracuse has played itself down onto the bubble as they take on Villanova. And the Johnnies are alive and well as they take on Seton Hall at 9 Eastern. A monumental day in the Big East as you look at some of the teams with a lot to gain or maybe a lot to lose, depending on how things go the next couple of days in New York. Meanwhile, back here in Cleveland, Jabari Harris, big tall left-hander playing with a stress fracture in his left leg. Knocks down a jumper and the Flames go back on top. Oh, there's a strong screen from Blankson that leveled Mitchum. Somebody got to help him out.
Good block by Harris.
How about that? A bucket and a block in his first 15 seconds in the game. Schneiderman, quick release for 3.
Schneiderman with 2 big threes here in the last couple of minutes.
And UIC extending its lead. They have gotten hot after starting off very cold, and the Flames are the better outside shooting teams, probably the best in this conference.
4 of 6 from three-point range. That's the big story for them offensively in the first half.
Double Bailey to force him to give the ball up. Gets it right back. Shot clock winding down now on the Ramblers. Lance has got to make a decision. Finds Bailey. Little stutter step hesitation. Gets his man in the air and hits the shot. Big time play.
As long as that ball is released prior to the shot clock's expiration, it can go off. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get to the basket. He's just got to release it prior to the expiration.
David Bailey with 8 to lead all scorers in this game. Banks from the corner, no, and the rebound to Lewis Smith. Now Bailey turns on the Jets. Kicks it out. Smith for 3. And the rebound to Schneiderman. Martell Bailey getting some extended minutes on the bench here in the first half.
Maybe forcing in just a little bit, trying too much. Get a chance to look at things, calm down a little bit. He'll be back in shortly.
Jimmy Collins loves Schneiderman, his toughness. They're a different kind of a team, though, with him at the point because he's more of a shooter, but not nearly the penetrator that Martell Bailey is.
Loyola's gone back to that 1-2-2 zone.
This foul is going to go against Mitchum of UIC.
Bailey stepped in and drew the charge.
Number 2 on Jean-Pierre Mitchum. Larry Farmer said he didn't believe before the season his team deserved to be picked last. He said you never dream about first. He said we thought we had a chance to be pretty good, but here he is 5 months later after they were picked last in the championship game. That ball's still alive, and Banks comes up with it. Mitchum from the west.
Again, the 3 has been kind for UIC here in the first half.
Baseline, rebound, Blankson, it goes, and a foul as well. And there's the one thing that Jimmy Collins is most concerned about is Blankson getting on the offensive glass.
Both coaches talked about their concern about Blankson. Obviously, Jimmy Collins concerned that he would be active inside and on the glass. Larry Farmer wanted to make sure that he was active on the glass. Nobody blocks his big guy out inside. Follows it up, picks the foul. Chance for a three-point play.
We've got Blankson already with 6 rebounds in the game, John. Again, averaging 10 a game this season. He led the league in rebounding by 2.5 rebounds per game. Can't complete the three-point play, and Kickard rips down the rebound. Schneiderman now being defended by Jason Telford, sophomore from Pontiac, Illinois, in playing alongside David Bailey in the backcourt. Schneiderman another 3, and the rebound to Smith. Bailey, well, he loves that little hesitation move, doesn't he?
It just freezes you, Dan, defensively. You have to respect his perimeter shot. You relax for just a minute, then he puts it in that next gear and goes right by you.
10 for Bailey, and Loyola's back within 2. Banks with a travel. So the Ramblers getting back into it. A couple of quick baskets to get back within 2. A lot on the line. A couple of Chicago schools, all Chicago kids, hoping their season does not come to an end tonight.
To look at things of beauty. They make me dream. They make me wish. They make me smile.
The all-new Lexus ES 300, a new world of luxury.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals?
Go! Go!
No. Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. Man, that is awesome. Get Selsun Power.
Tina?
Hi, you want to see Todd?
Ready to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying to keep the mileage down on this car, so I drive it backwards 4 days a week.
Need a motor oil for a high-mileage car? We developed one. Pennzoil high-mileage vehicle restores the performance of older engines.
Come to AutoZone for special savings on Pennzoil's new high-mileage vehicle motor oil.
Boring. Still eating this stuff? 2 words for you. Honey and spicy. As in KFC honey barbecue wings with real honey and spicy barbecue wings with smoked jalapeno. They're drenched in sauce for intense, cooked-in flavor. Get 8 for $2.99 or 20 for only $7.49. There's fast food, then there's KFC.
Back here in Cleveland, a 2-point lead for UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago, over Loyola Chicago, in spite of the best effort so far of all-conference player David Bailey.
David Bailey's played under control. He has not forced any shots. He's 4 of 8 from the field. Again, that hesitation move has created all kind of problems. 2 assists, no turnovers, providing outstanding experienced leadership, not forcing anything. And he's creating some definite problems for UIC at the defensive end.
You can see what he's done so far in this tournament, actually below his season numbers, averaging better than 21 points per game on the year. In the 2 games this year against his brother Martell at UIC, he scored 46 points this season, although he didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Blankson inside, and he's fouled. Martell Bailey, by the way, has checked back into the game now for the Flames, and Blankson becoming a real force on the interior. Armando Williams picks up the foul, his first, and Blankson back to the line, just 55% on the season. Coming up on the 7-Up halftime report, we got some news. Well, another Chicago school in the news as Pat Kennedy resigns. Also, the gang, Chris Fowler, Digger Phelps, will preview the Big East tournament, which begins tomorrow, and a huge Ivy League matchup, which is either going to make a champion out of someone or create a 3-way tie. And remember, the Ivy, no postseason tournament. They'll have to settle it with a couple of winner-take-all playoff games at the end of the regular season. Cardos might have gotten away with a walk there.
Man-to-man defensively now for Loyola. Boy, Paris was wide open. They didn't see him inside on the screen.
And now a foul going against Loyola. It's going to be David Bailey, who looked like he just ran into the elbow of Jabari Harris.
And he got the punishment and the foul called against him.
Just his first, but he's at times this year, John, gotten into some foul trouble, and gives Larry Farmer a problem every now and again, although at other times guys like Telford have come off the bench and really stepped up in Bailey's absence. Nice feed inside, extra pass, doesn't work though.
Yeah, it's a shot that Williams should have just taken. He had a good look.
From the baseline, Jonathan Freeman knocks down another shot. A guy who's playing a lot more and playing a lot better this year, his senior season, and he's been a big factor here tonight. Loyola back on top, and this is pretty much what we expected, an even matchup between these two teams that know each other so well.
You see how Telford just backing off, trying again to clog up that middle against Martell Bailey, not allow the penetration.
They'd rather him shoot it. That's what they're afraid of. But the ball is stripped away after the good feed by Martell, and here comes David the other way. Freeman for three. And the rebound comes down to Carr and the Flames. Aaron Carr, a sophomore from Chicago, into the game now for UIC. UIC getting it all done from outside, and on cue, Armand Williams slams it home from the inside to change those numbers a little bit.
Well, you'd like to have a little more balance, not be so perimeter dependent, but that's been a strength of theirs all season long.
Left hand up and good for Blankson.
Solid move, shows he can use either hand down low.
Final couple of minutes of the first half here in Cleveland. The championship game of the Horizon League. Championship week presented by 7-Up continuing. Illinois, Chicago against Loyola, Chicago. Dan Schulman, John Albright with you. The winner goes on to the NCAA tournament. The loser is not going to go anywhere. Neither one of these teams really compiling enough of a resume for an enlarged or even an NIT. These are two middle-of-the-pack teams this year in the Horizon. As Aaron Carr gets into the paint, hits, and he'll go to the line as well.
Carr with a nice move. He's going to get Clancy to buy the head fake. Under control, that's the key. Pump fake, Clancy leaves his feet, a little lean in. Concentration, basket's good, and one. Again, good look. The key here, Clancy buys the pump fake, leaves his feet, out of control. Carr leans in just enough to get the foul, converts to three-point play.
And UIC is back on top. Now Banks is going to replace Carr. Now, I wonder what it's like for these two coaches. Jimmy Collins was an All-American at New Mexico State, played in the Final Four, played in the NBA and ABA. Larry Farmer, of course, won 3 national championships at UCLA. In his career, 89-1 as a player. Now here they are at middle of the pack, mid-major schools. It's got to be quite an adjustment for these guys.
It is, but the one thing from the player's perspective, that's credibility. Coaches have done it. They've played it. They know exactly what's at stake. They've been there. That's why you listen and you pay attention.
I'm trying to remember who it was who dealt Larry Farmer his only defeat back in college.
Somebody with Notre Dame ties up. Good work on that.
What was that coach's name? David Bailey drives and hits again.
I just remember John Shoemate and Gary Brokaw.
Yeah, maybe they'll sort it out at halftime for us. Martell Bailey gets bailed out there.
I'd like to go you 3 years. Back then, of course, freshmen were not eligible.
Yeah.
1 loss in your entire career.
Amazing. Cardos gets into the paint. He's a real wild card for them. He can have a 5-point game and then a 25-point game. If he gets open for shots, he'll hit them. And another tough screen. Boy, the Flames big guys have to start calling out these screens. They're going to get somebody hurt.
Blankson again comes up with a big offensive board.
Blankson's going to head back to the line. He's been the dominant inside player so far here today. Contributes as much, if not more, with the rebounding as he does with the scoring. And now the basketball's a little bit wet with perspiration, so Blankson wants it toweled off.
Did the right thing. Immediately got the official involved.
They wouldn't put that past
him. A new count.
Flames were down big early, then they got hot from the perimeter, went on a 10-0 run, and it's been back and forth ever since. questions in this conference, and we'll explore it a little bit more in the second half, is the #1 seed Butler. The prohibitive favorite in the league, knocked out in the quarterfinals by Wisconsin to Green Bay. Have the Bulldogs done enough to get themselves an at-large bid? And some people say yes, some people say no. It all depends, of course, on what happens in some of the other tournaments in the next few days.
Dan, I think that's a problem. I certainly think they're deserving. Now, whether they get in or not, that's another matter. And again, some of the other at-large teams from around the country, that's what you got to be concerned about when you lose in the first round. But certainly, I think they're deserving. Not sure they're going to get in.
Big three for Cedric Banks. Final few seconds. David Bailey, good if it goes, but it's a little bit too strong. Good first half here in Cleveland. UIC comes back from a big deficit to take a 3-point lead, but David Bailey is the highest scorer in the game with 12 for the Ramblers. That all-Chicago game. Come back for more in the second half, but first time for the 7-Up halftime report with Chris and Digger. Fellas?
Hi, Dan and John. Thank you very much, Digger, with your lifelong obsession on points in the paint. It's shocking to see a team that had none for the first 18 minutes of the game still have a lead at halftime.
But give Jimmy Collins credit. His team got down early. I thought Loyola relaxed at the 10-minute mark, and they go on that 10-zip run, and now they get the lead at halftime. And Larry Farmer's going to go in there and give him a little John Wooden talk for halftime.
John Wooden get fired up?
Well, no, you know, Larry Farmer played for the big guy, didn't he? That pyramid of success?
Maybe a little more inspired than Coach Wooden was. A lot coming up on the 7-Up halftime report, including coaching changes and end of the Kennedy administration at DePaul. Straight ahead.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, is brought to you by UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Brown's technology helps me see my supply chain minute by minute. Brown shows me problems before they get bigger. Brown works with me to give me control. Brown reveals the hidden opportunities before they go away. Brown never says to me, you can't do that. That's what lawyers are for.
Better supply chain visibility. What can Brown do for you?
When reviewing the Lexus LS430, Automobile Magazine said, no car in this class has more inviting leather, a more comfortable ride, a superior stereo, or a more logical navigation system. Perhaps this is why, for the second year in a row, Automobile Magazine has named the LS430 the best luxury car over $40,000. To its owners, it's the best luxury sedan in the world. The LS430 at your Lexus dealer.
Checking out digital cameras?
Yeah, I need FireWire compatibility so that I can email my pictures.
Sure. This one also makes MPEG movies.
Really?
He's excited. It's for our baby. Congratulations. Considered any names yet?
Yeah, maybe Sony or Olympus, but you're the expert, right?
We know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City. We're with you.
How about an LCD screen?
LCD, chickenpox. We're going to screen for everything.
Sings that. The Seekers. Sings that. The Seekers.
No. Cornelius Brothers and Sister Rose, 1972.
You want expert answers whenever you need them? Come to Office Depot, where our people listen, understand, and help.
How can I get organized?
The new generation of handhelds. It'd be nice if everything was like that. Office Depot. What you need to know.
Introducing Wendy's 4 new Garden Sensation salads with greener greens and more fresh vegetables than ever. Like our Mandarin chicken salad with everything from mandarin oranges and sliced almonds to sesame dressing. Spring mixed salad with grape tomatoes and pecans. Chicken BLT salad with hickory smoked bacon and honey mustard dressing. And our new Taco Supremo salad with salsa and sour cream. Wendy's 4 new Garden Sensations. We've raised the bar on salads.
Excuse me, what's this? Bud Light, please. Can I, oh, there you go. Oh, hey, wait. Can I have a Bud Light, please? Yeah. Hi. Can I?
With a great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
Hey, I'll be right down. Oh, wait.
Make it a Bud Light.
This halftime report is presented by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours.
Well, the Ramblers rolled to a 17-8 lead before UIC woke up the Flames. 36-33, the all-Chicago affair for the automatic bid from the Horizon Conference. And welcome back to the 7-Up halftime report. Ironic, as these two teams fight for an automatic bid, Pat Kennedy's regime at DePaul ends. Kennedy, after 5 years, decided he had had enough. They failed to qualify for the tournament this year. Talking about the Conference USA tournament. Kennedy says it was the toughest decision of his life.
It was a very emotional weekend for me and my family. And I think we've made a very, very sound, good, strong decision. It's been a great 5 years. We've had great support, a great university, great program, and it needs to get back there. And no one will be a bigger fan or try to help more than I possibly could.
This year at 9-19 follows the 12-18 season a year ago. One NCAA tournament bid in the 5 years, the 21-12 season in 2000, when the Blue Demons were knocked out in the first round, 67-75. The cumulative record. Pat, a good guy. We certainly wish him well, but you think he had just decided it was time to go?
I think the recruiting aspect really caught up to him. When you have players leaving early, which we saw happen at DePaul, that really wrecked their program. They never established having juniors and seniors that can carry the underclassmen into the NCAA tournament, get to the Sweet 16, Final 8. I mean, that was their mission. DePaul, obviously, in the late 70s, gets to the Final 4. They got it done. And I think that's what they're looking for in Chicago. Kennedy on the other side, when his back went out, he had some good wins. He beat Temple in December, beat Missouri in December. But then what happened was his back was out. He can't coach. And, boy, I'll tell you, if you got a bad back, that really catches up to you. But it was a combination of the recruiting as well as not getting things done. And we take a look at the quality of teams down that league with Rick Pitino, John Calipari, Bobby Huggins. Kennedy just figured, well, okay, maybe they need a chance. I've tried it for 5 years. Let someone else come in and do it.
Quality of teams in that city, trying to recruit against Larry Farmer and Jimmy Collins, and, of course, Bill Self down in Illinois. It's getting tougher and tougher for DePaul to recruit. Some other coaching changes at some mid-major programs that have high expectations and maybe more pressure than you might expect. Jeff Capel, the ex-Duke guard at age 27, becomes the youngest coach in Division I, promoted the head coach at Virginia Commonwealth. And Bradley University fires Jim Molinari after 11 seasons, another disappointing year for the Braves, and they're fervent fans this year.
Jim Molinari should have left in '96. He got to the tournament as an at-large, the NCAA tournament with Bradley, and he was coach of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference. He just stayed too long. In those jobs, you can't hang around more 5 or 6 years. You've got to stay ahead of the posse because you can't maintain that at that level. And from that standpoint, if he got another job in mid-major or a good conference like in the Big East, A10, anything else to get himself that growing syndrome of moving up, then he would have survived.
A lot of empty seats there. Bradley has, as I said, high expectations, fervent fans. That's tough to survive the 2 years that he had the last couple of years. Now the Big East Conference tournament, the ConAgra Foods Big East Championship, which begins tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. This is a scrutinized tournament because so many teams sit on the bubble, including BC and Rutgers, who meet at noon Eastern time. The first round game, the winner gets Pittsburgh, Georgetown, and Providence. The winner will get Miami. Intriguing matchup right here. Syracuse has played its way onto the bubble, taking on a Villanova team that just knocked them off in Philadelphia last week. One of the reasons why the Orangemen are on the bubble. A very dispirited, invisible, uninspired first half as they fell behind. Andrew Sullivan drives for the dunk. Nova took command here. Syracuse would fight back, but just kind of too little too late in this game.
Well, Brooks Seals had a big game, 15 points, 15 rebounds, really beating them up inside, controlling the boards, and that's the issue. The Syracuse just didn't have the intensity, and this is almost one of those games where Jim Boeheim has to win this. They've dropped 8 out of their last 12. Their RPI's not strong. The strength of schedule's not strong. They need maybe 2 wins to get it done, and they must start tomorrow with this game after they lost to this Seton Hall team. I think they got problems because Villanova can make it happen.
They got a lot of problems, losing 8 out of 12
right.
after the 16-2 start. Syracuse was ranked number 7 in the country less than 2 months ago. We'll come back. We'll talk about the Ivy League. It's a mess if the Tigers can beat the Quakers tonight. A 3-way tie. We'll set that game up coming up.
You see them everywhere you go. Warnings, cautions, reminders that your safety triangle needs attention. Because just one worn part could compromise your ability to stop, steer, and maintain stability. So have a safety triangle inspection and demand quality replacement parts, like Monroe shocks and struts. After all, it's not just your safety on the line.
At Michelin, our tires are rigorously tested. They're laser checked, X-rayed for structural integrity. And finally, no tire leaves the factory without a thorough hand inspection. Michelin, because so much is riding on your tires.
Is your dandruff sending the wrong signals?
Go! Go!
No. Get Selsun Power. Doctors recommend Selsun Blue. Man, that is awesome. Get Selsun Power.
Betty! You made it to the reunion!
It's Jane.
Close enough. So what do you got there?
Oh, it's a Kia Spectra. It's like your Toyota Corolla, except that it came standard with power windows and locks, a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, and my Spectra was $2,700 less than yours.
Oh, yeah? Well, I took Buff Johnson to the prom.
You mean that, Buff Johnson?
Right now, get $2,000 cash back on all Kia Spectras.
You know, when I was a young man, riding a Harley-Davidson motorcycle, oh, that's all I could think of. I mean, that open road, that rumbling engine, the wind in my face.
Oh, but you had a Harley?
No, I never got it. I spent the money on aluminum siding instead.
Let's go see what Grandma's doing.
For 1 week a year, nothing matters except this.
Are you serious? That's a coach's dream.
Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, continues on ESPN and ESPN2.
Now, welcome back to the 7-Up halftime report. In the Battle of Brothers, Loyola's David is outscoring Martell. David Bailey with 12, but 36-33 Flames at the break. Besides the 3 automatic bids tonight, the Ivy League championship could be settled. You see Yale in the clubhouse at 11-3. Princeton, if they can win at Penn, win outright. If Penn wins, it's a 3-way tie and a 3-team playoff, which would be Princeton versus Yale, with the winner getting Penn. Digger, it's the best.
But Penn pounded Princeton a couple of weeks ago at Princeton. They beat them 62-38, and I know Fran Dunphy, I know the Palester, they're scalping tickets outside tonight. The pretzels are hot, the mustard's there. The Ivy League will go to that playoff, which will happen Thursday, back at the Palester, where Yale has to play Princeton there in Philadelphia. Then the winner takes Penn, and they go up to Lafayette. I can't figure that one out.
At Easton.
Easton. I mean, that's, well, nothing
Can I just say
Lafayette,
this? We talk Ivy League, and especially Penn. Your objectivity just goes out the window. I can hear it in your voice.
I was an assistant there. I'm loyal. Fran Dunphy will get it done tonight. We'll see that 3-game playoff.
Which you're going to predict Penn will win.
Absolutely.
I go along with you. They've been the most consistent team in the regular season. We'll track that game later on this evening. We'll get back out to Cleveland for the second half of the all-Chicago affair. 3 of Cedric Banks, 8 points. Good ball game. Second half straight ahead.
Kevin Garnett, the kid, player of the present and future, ideal player of the 21st century. What up? We call him KG the Kid, KG. But if you seen him with a basketball, you know that he grown. You seen him on the ball court, you know that he home. It's like every dunk is drastic. First to get drafted out of high school since Moses Malone. Everybody gotta earn their turn. I think the kid game got hotter since his jersey burned. And you couldn't find a finer kid than the 7-foot South Carolina kid obsessed with balls. And the rim need a hard net. Better act like you know. Come on, dog. That's Kevin Garnett. About to get an and one, all of your mugs. Said he play around the clock cause it's ball in his blood. He ain't think about a turnover. That's KG, he the player of the future. And the game about the turnover. Think you got game, then you gon' have to learn over. KG.
For powerful digital imaging systems that are race car fast and handle so well they can pump out up to 105 pages a minute. Think inside the box. Think Sabin.
7-Up is proud to sponsor youth hockey. And for when they get thirsty, I've provided plenty of 7-Up. Because I care about the kids. 7-Up
Swamp is now proud to sponsor youth swimming. Kick those legs, Tommy.
Come on down to the bayou, the swamp at Brookfield Zoo. Brookfield Zoo is open every day.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, is brought to you by Land Rover, the most well-traveled vehicles on Earth.
Well, we're here in Cleveland. We've got a spot in the NCAA tournament on the line tonight, but it's going to be a school from Chicago that claims it no matter what the outcome. Heading to the second half, it's a close one. UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago, leading Loyola Chicago by 3 points. Dan Schulman, John Albright, back with you at the beginning. UIC couldn't throw it in the ocean, but once they heated up, we saw the kind of shooting we expected from them.
Momentum did change a lot, but the three-point shot, that was a key for UIC in the first half. That's a big reason why they've got the slim three-point lead. They got their threes from a variety of different people. The bench contributed. Jonathan Schneiderman off the bench. 6 for 10 from three-point range for UIC. Again, good job. They've relied on the three all year long. It was a big factor in the first 20 minutes for UIC. David Bailey, well, he did his part. First team all-conference performer. 12 points under control. Again, the hesitation move. He was a solid performer in the first 20 minutes. It's everything we thought it would be. Close contest here at the half.
The bench huge for the Flames. Exactly half of their points. The three-point shooting big as well for UIC. The rebounds just about even. High score in the game. The man with the ball right now, David Bailey, with 12 points in the first half. His younger brother Martell for UIC just 3 points in the first half, but he did dish out 3 assists in the time that he was in there. Schneiderman got a lot of minutes off the bench at the point. Here's Cardos with a steal. Lewis Smith giving chase, got a piece of it.
Well, good hustle by Smith. He doesn't hustle back. Ends up an easy 2.
A big battle down low between Freeman and Little, and the officials letting him play.
That indication early as a player, they're going to let us bang around down there. They're going to call the bad breath fouls, whatever the case. Just be consistent, and you have to adjust your game accordingly.
Little giving up a lot of size to Freeman. They've been working hard. Smith on the baseline gets the bounce. And Loyola back within 1 a minute into the second half. Loyola the 5 seed, UIC the 6 seed. Automatic bid out of the Horizon League at stake tonight. Most people figure maybe a 13 or a 14 seed for the winner of this game. The conference has been very strong in recent years, but these are not the strongest teams in the conference this year. And I guess we should amend that. They are right now. They're here.
That's all that matters.
Yeah. Cardos too strong off the glass. Solverson tries to run it down. Cedric Banks in the right place at the right time.
3 opportunities on that possession because of 2 offensive boards. Glass work by UIC.
And the Flames lead back up to 3. Looks like the crowd, which is not that big, this game being 300 miles away from Chicago, about evenly split between the 2 schools. Clancy from the corner. It's a 2 to bring the Ramblers back within a point. 5 points now for Clancy. Solverson at least this time, John, turning and facing and making a move.
He has to be at least a threat. Even if he's not going to shoot it every time, the defense has to buy into it.
Bailey lost the ball, and it's out of bounds. Officials looking for help. It's going to stay with Loyola. It was a big first half for David Bailey, the older brother, the first team All-Horizon League performer. Younger brother Martell, who was part of the all-newcomer team in the league this year, didn't play as much, didn't score as much.
But again, Martell doesn't have to score to have a solid game. His influence has to be penetrating, distributing the basketball.
David led the league in scoring this year, better than 21 points per game. Martell only 6 points per game, but he was second in the league in assists as Freeman steps in and commits the foul. UIC with the ball in a 1-point lead, 2.5 minutes into the second half here in Cleveland. All part of Championship Week presented by 7-Up. Forget the Sun Belt Championship comes your way after us tonight here on ESPN. Louisiana Lafayette taking on Western Kentucky. Martell Bailey the drive, and a tie-up is the call. The arrow will keep it with the Flames.
Defensive adjustment. They've got Lewis Smith at 6'4", guarding the 5'10". Martell Bailey, so some size that Martell's got to deal with. Plus, when Smith is guarding him, he can back off a little bit because he can get out if Bailey shoots the outside shot and get in his face.
Minifield and Turkovich back into the game and out for Loyola. Little on the feed from Bailey, and UIC's back up by 3. It's been this close for just about the entire night. After about 5 minutes into the game, UIC made a run, got back into it. It's been like this ever since.
Constant motion, screens, communication on the defensive end, critical. You got to let your teammates know where those screens are, get them through.
Lots of ball fakes from the Ramblers, but the Flames not biting right now. David Bailey shakes bank. Wild shot will go down.
Tough shot. Bailey gets the answer.
14 now for Bailey. Cardos the miss on the 3 at the other end. Here come the Ramblers with a chance to take the lead. Again, that stutter step by David Bailey. How does he even find the rim to get the ball up there?
Right now he's on a roll. You got to find a way to disrupt his rhythm. He's hit 2 tough shots, consecutive possessions. Got to find a way to disrupt that rhythm.
Again, he is listed at 5'8". That's generous. He might be 5'7", but he's the quickest guy on the floor. Having to chase around Cardos on the defensive end. Martell Bailey down to Banks, draws the double team. Cardos for 3. He's the guy who's got to knock down the open shots for UIC.
Cardos shoots it better than 45%, 47% from three-point range on the year.
Langston, Minifield wasn't expecting the pass. Bodies on the floor. And a timeout was called by Loyola as they retained possession over in that scrum down in the corner. Minifield made the call. We'll step aside with a timeout here in Cleveland. David Bailey starting to take over here early in the second half. He's got 16 now, and the Ramblers are back on top, but only by 1.
ESPN and ESPN2, home of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship.
Take me with you.
I'm sorry?
Take me with you. I want to see the Swiss Alps, the snow-covered Matterhorn. I want to frolic in the Lauterbrunnen Valley and drink cocoa in a rustic chalet. I can do exchange rates in my head. I won't ask for pit stops. I can yodel.
Presenting the Freelander from Land Rover, the most well-traveled vehicles on Earth.
I'm a regular guy, but sometimes I can be such a dunce. Like when I go on vacation. I always wonder if I'm paying too much for the rental car. Then I heard about the Dollar Rent-A-Car website at dollar.com. The rates were so good, I couldn't contain my excitement. Saving money was so quick and easy, and wow, my Dollar rental car was right at the airport. Next time, you know where to go.
Where'd you get that salad?
Wendy's.
Where? Wendy's.
Oh, so you're not going to tell me. People just can't believe Wendy's 4 new salads filled with everything from mandarin oranges to honey roasted pecans.
Keep your little secret. Must be a power thing.
Wendy's Garden Sensations. We've raised the bar on salads.
They say if you're going to sell something, get yourself a captive audience. Oh, watch the sleeve. Okay, there you go. This place is going to be a gold mine. I'm not picking that up. When you bring the 7-Up, everyone is your friend. Okay, that's enough being friends.
Don't forget, more Championship Week action presented by 7-Up continues later on tonight after our game right here on ESPN. We'll take you down to the Sun Belt Championship. Western Kentucky taking on the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette. And then over on ESPN2 at 9:30 Eastern Time, it's the Mid-Continent Conference Championship game. Valpo against IUPUI. So 2 more bids plus this one tonight will be awarded here as the field slowly but surely starts to take shape. Tonight it's going to be either the University of Illinois at Chicago or Loyola University Chicago. Loyola with a 1-point lead right now early in the second half here in Cleveland. David Bailey, high score in the game at 16. Has the ball again, puts up another shot, tip no good. And we've got Minifield with a foul over the back. Now, we talked to Mom earlier. Let's bring in Dad now. David Bailey Sr. Oh, we got a timeout on the floor. We'll hold that thought and talk to Mr. Bailey when we come back. Loyola leading by the slimmest of margins here in Cleveland.
Skip Barber, Formula One racer, founder of one of America's best racing schools. He knows performance. He lives it. He also knows new Quaker State oils are formulated for fine-tuned performance in different engines, like new Quaker State Full Synthetic, fine-tuned for advanced engines. And now, only Quaker State offers a warranty covering all lubricated engine parts, even if you change your own oil.
Hey, it's been working for me.
For performance you can count on, Quaker State. Stay tuned.
Wait your turn.
Have a good night.
Take me with you.
Excuse me?
Take me with you. I want to get away. I want to wander the Andes, climb the ruins of Machu Picchu. We'll explore Laguna de los Condors and search the Amazon for lost tribes. I have a keychain with a can opener. I can make guacamole.
Presenting the Freelander from Land Rover, the most well-traveled vehicles on Earth.
Busloads of students from both Chicago schools made the 5-hour trip to Cleveland here today. Convocation Center on the campus of Cleveland State University, the host school of this tournament, to root on the Bailey brothers. David for Loyola, Martell for UIC. And right now, David's team is up a point as we bring in David Bailey Sr. Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Tell us a little bit about the one-on-one battles these two kids had when they were younger. What kind of basketball games did they have with one another?
Oh, it used to be some tough battles they did, but David was the smaller one, so Martell, David he used to cheat a lot, though. You know, he used to win, but he used to cheat a lot.
It's amazing how the older ones get away with that.
Oh, yeah, David, well, he taught him the game so well. He figured like he could get away with it, you know.
I got your report cards on your sons in the first half.
Oh, yeah, he got a real good report card. I like the way he played this first half. Martell didn't do too bad.
We understand that you've got a shirt of some significance. What's on your T-shirt?
Excuse me?
What's on your T-shirt? What kind of a shirt you got on tonight?
Oh, I have a T-shirt here with UIC with Martell on it, and I have Loyola David is on there.
So you're split right down the middle, huh?
Yeah, we got to split right down the middle, 50-50. I hope it come down to the last shot.
Well, it's looking that way right now. Mr. Bailey, thanks for joining us and enjoy the rest of the game.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Corey Little with a miss. So Mom and Dad, we try to get both of them to say, you know, which way they're leaning, what they're feeling.
Very close to the vest.
Yeah.
Understand.
Yeah.
You got the parents involved. They don't want to say too much. Understand.
Again, Mom said to us that David and Martell really didn't speak to each other in the last couple of days. I mean, right now they're on opposite sides of the fence. One's a Flame, one's a Rambler. They'll be Baileys tomorrow.
Very, very unique. The two brothers go at it like this.
Teammates in high school, won some city championships together. David Bailey long in the 3. Martell with the rebound.
Nice play by Martell. heads-up play before he travels or before he gets tied up, kicked it over to Kickert. They retained possession, didn't have to go the alternating possession route.
Minifield on Martell Bailey right now. So Larry Farmer's got a 6'8" guy defending the point guard. Mitchum from outside for 3.
Mitchum was big in the first half. He was 2 for 2 from threes in the first 20 minutes. And the bench has done an outstanding job for Jimmy Collins, providing almost 50% of their points.
What a steal by Banks. And remember, there's the 2 Baileys, and Banks was a high school teammate of both of them, and he just picked the pocket of David Bailey.
That's a move I'm sure he understood from the summer ball, all those years of playing together.
There's the answer, huh? Right back at you, and it's a 2-point game. Banks, the high scorer for the Flames on the season. Turnovers are pretty even. Turnovers have been fairly low in this game. There's nearly a turnover committed by the Flames. Nice look inside. Kicker goes around his man, scores, and heads to the line.
That particular play is something that has been added to the offensive arsenal late in the season. Kyle Kickert not much of a factor early in the season. Again, nice entry pass. Got Turkovich on his back. Too quick, goes right around him. The basket and the 3. Again, nice move by Kickert. Strong power move. And he'll get a chance at the 3-point line. The effort pays off.
And a nice little entry feed by Martell Bailey as well as he picks up his 5th assist of the night. Wow, that didn't have a chance. And it's going to be Loyola ball. They still love Kickert, though, a guy who, as John mentioned, has become more and more of a factor here late in the season.
Yeah, I'll let you tell him you don't like it.
On my way out of the building with a head start.
Philosophical differences only.
And David Bailey doing most of the damage for Loyola tonight, as expected. UIC a much more balanced team. Lewis Smith, no. Kickert battling for the rebound. Minifield has it for the Ramblers.
A rare offensive rebound for either one of these clubs tonight. Tough shot by David Bailey. Comes up again with a big basket.
2 more for Bailey to bring the Ramblers back within 2, and you can see why he led this league in scoring this year. Banks can't get his man in the air. Kickert steps in, picks up a loose ball. Martell Bailey again getting it inside. Mitchum trying to post his man, and he's fouled from behind.
What I like is Martell Bailey's not forcing the issue. He forced a little bit earlier in the game. The big guys are taking away some of his penetration, so he's comfortable distributing.
Still close. It's UIC in front by 2, but still a ton of time to go here in Cleveland.
For 1 week a year, nothing else matters except this. Who will rise to the occasion and be crowned champion?
If you don't like this, you don't like basketball.
Championship Week, presented by 7-Up, continues on ESPN and ESPN2. For teams and times, log on to ESPN.com.
What can you do at VHIX.com in 30 seconds or less? Find a car by make, find a car by type, find a car by price. Find out if the car you're thinking about buying is a lemon. Get a credit check, get pre-approved, and get ready to buy. Compare vehicles, compare features, compare prices. Get insurance quotes, crash and safety test results, and much, much more. VHIX.com. It's your roadmap to the automotive world.
No matter where I travel, home is the best destination of all. By trusting my muffler, brakes, and shocks to the pros at Meineke, I know I'll always get there.
At Meineke, you'll get a lot, but you won't pay a lot.
Jumping out of planes and rolling out of boats. Through the training, you learn to be a lot more driven.
Well, without the Navy, I wouldn't have had money for college.
Call this number now for your free 12-minute video and see how the Navy can jumpstart your life. Navy, accelerate your life.
Jimmy Collins and the Flames up by 2 on Loyola. 11:23 to go in the Horizon League Championship game. Don't forget, coming up Sunday at 8 Eastern, it's the first original motion picture from ESPN. Brian Dennehy is Bobby Knight. Follow Knight and the Hoosiers through a season on the brink, immediately following the NCAA Men's Basketball Selection Special. Don't forget, parental discretion is strongly advised. A season on the brink presented by Miller Lite. You want to get on TV? You make a sign with a promo on it. It's a layup that you'll get on TV. Those guys over there pretty much have us promoted and scheduled till about Memorial Day.
Just pick your promo that's applicable for you in your area. They've got them all covered.
Cedric Banks for 3. Now, you talked about how the first 10 minutes of the game, he did not have a single shot attempt. He is now 5 for 8, 15 points. And a 5-point lead, the way this game has gone. It's big. Yeah, it seems huge right now. Turkovic again, and he's fouled. It's going to be a tough matchup down there for Armand Williams. He's only 6'5", and Turkovic is 6'10".
Yeah, the only way you can stop him, you must put a body on him. You're not going to do it trying to beat him to the spot. Those arms will beat you to it.
And now Jimmy Collins is going to make a move here. Thor Salverson's going to come back into the game.
Salverson's not a big scorer, but he got hurt early and has not been a rebounding factor in this game. He spent a lot of time sitting down. Good look at Jimmy Collins. Long run at Illinois. Assistant there for many, many years. Certainly knows the Chicago area recruiting lands very well. And Larry Farmer making inroads in the greater Chicago area as well.
And you always hear coaches talk about how deep the pool of talent in Chicago is. And these two schools stocked about 75% on Chicago players alone. And, of course, DePaul wants Chicago kids, and Illinois wants Chicago kids, and Northwestern, Notre Dame, they all want to get into that market. Your classic mid-major matchup here for a spot in the NCAA tournament. UIC's only been once before. That was an at-large bid back in 1998. Loyola's last winning season before this year was 1987. They've already locked that up. Their last trip to the Big Dance, 1985, 17 years ago. And before that, you got to go back 17 more years to 68. So they think that everything is aligned for them to return to the tournament this year. Mitchum, no. And Freeman with a rebound. David Bailey, little bump from little brother. Now David goes right by him and scores.
First time the seal was there. Went right back out, tried it again. This time he found an opening. Really creates a lot of problems for you. His quickness. This time Martell's there. Martell not thinking he's going to come back, do it again. Left an opening in the door, and little brother David went right through. Solid move by David Bailey.
He has now surpassed his scoring average. He's got 22 points already.
Had a lane violation. I think it's going to be on kicker.
Shot coming through David Bailey. Boy, this close of a game, you'd hate to have that be the difference.
Yeah, he's trying to do the right thing, blocking out, but stepped in.
Well, which one? I guess David, given that he's got a Loyola shirt on.
Yeah, I don't think that's for Martell.
I don't think we've ever given out an MVB award before, but as Martell heads to the bench, David has certainly been the man here tonight. And again, coming into the game, he's the big scorer. He and Martell are different kinds of players as Mom Linda and Dad David look on from the stands. Now David sits down. He has brought the Ramblers back within a point. 10 minutes to go, second half here in Cleveland.
That's probably the last breather for both brothers. Get back in at the end.
Schneiderman gave UIC some good minutes off the bench at the point of the first half.
A lot of movement. They try to rub guys off screens to come open for perimeter shots. Solid move by Kickert inside. Freeman out of position. Has to foul to stop Kickert.
Fourth on Freeman. That could be big. He's one of their best inside players, and Kickert heads to the line. some of the other scores, other championship week action going on all around the country tonight. Don't forget the Big East begins tomorrow. Day games, doubleheader during the day and at night. All 4 games on ESPN. You and I have a couple more to do. Patriot League on Friday. Mid-Eastern Athletic, the BIAC on Saturday.
A lot of fun ahead. Great time of year.
It was fun last night at Albany. I'll tell you, Siena beating Niagara to get to the tournament on their home floor. And it's one of the facts of life about this kind of a tournament. Here we are on the home floor of Cleveland State. But they get knocked out in the first round. It changes everything. Siena is the 7th seed in the MAC, got all the way to the championship game. They got 9,000 people in the stands. It's tough to figure out what the best way to stage a tournament at the mid-major level is.
It gives you a second chance also. If you don't win and you're not in the top 2 or 3 seeds, like you mentioned, Siena, hey, you can do it. You got to put together a solid run, but it happens, and it happens every single year in tournaments all across the country.
And Siena had never won on their home floor, as Minifield dunks it home in 9 previous tournaments. So this is the first time they got it. This league, the Horizon League, they're going to Milwaukee next year. They keep rotating around all the different campus sites.
Here comes a trap. Handled very nicely. Loyola will try to put some more pressure on the ball with Bailey sitting out for UIC. Try to force some turnovers if they can. Man-to-man, they'll also use this and flatten out into the 1-2-2 zone they used a lot tonight.
Banks dribbles into a double team in the corner. Shot clock is down to 6.
Got to recognize how much time's left on the shot clock.
Mitchum from 15 feet away misses the jumper, and the rebound to Turkovic, and Loyola can take the lead. Jason Telford running the show right now for the Ramblers with David Bailey on the bench.
And there's that UCLA cut, as you would imagine. Larry Palmer's influence.
Player there, assistant there, head coach there. Championship week presented by 7-Up. Dan Schulman, John Albright with you in Cleveland. Horizon League championship game. Loyola in yellow, UIC in black. Couple of Chicago schools all tied up at 51. 8 minutes to play. The Ramblers picked by league coaches and media before the season to finish last in this 9-team league. And we'll get a foul as Blankson threw his man to the floor. And a timeout on the floor with 7:49 to play. What else but a tie? 51-51.
Take me with you.
I'm sorry?
Take me with you. I want to see the Swiss Alps, the snow-covered Matterhorn. I want to frolic in the Lauterbrunnen Valley and drink cocoa in a rustic chalet. I can do exchange rates in my head. I won't ask for pit stops. I can yodel.
Presenting the Freelander from Land Rover, the most well-traveled vehicles on Earth.
Share your heart with another.
At 7-Up, we're not just about selling soft drinks. We're about bringing people together. People from all over the world, all walks of life. Democrats, Republicans, oil company executives, environmentalists, East Coast rappers, West Coast rappers, all here to sing in peace and harmony. A little louder, everybody. I can barely hear the singing.
ESPN's presentation of Championship Week is presented by 7-Up and your local 7-Up bottler. Make 7-Up yours. And in part by Computer Associates, the software that manages e-business. And by A Season on the Brink, ESPN's first original motion picture. Premiere Sunday, March 10th, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on ESPN.
Rambler fans supporting their team. Flame fans doing the same. Busloads of both schools coming over from Chicago. UIC last in the tournament, 1998. That's the only time they've ever been in the tournament. Played in the championship game in 97, but lost. Got to the tournament as an at-large after a 22-win season in 98. The Ramblers haven't been in 17 years. And David Bailey putting up the big point totals again against the Flames. He is back in. Martell remains on the bench right now for UIC. position for kicker. An offensive foul. Number 3 on kicker.
Well, he had the right idea that time. Good defensive play by Turkovic. It's in position. Kicker's size and reputation probably hurt him there.
Yep. And back comes Bailey and Loyola with another chance to take the lead. We expected an even game. The 2 games they played this season, each team winning on its home court by almost the identical amount. One team was the 5 seed, one team was the 6 seed.
Good job by Banks. Once Bailey gave it up, he was trying to not let him have it back. This isolation play now, one-on-one for Bailey to go against Banks.
Banks had it, and now Kicker comes up with a loose ball.
It's good defense by Banks in the open court. Very tough assignment to guard David Bailey, basically on that isolation play.
Banks also a big threat at the offensive end, leading scorer for the Flames, and he's had a good night. Armando Williams picks up his dribble, finds Banks. Schneiderman lobs a pass over to Mitchum. Shot clock winding down. Williams inside. Offensive rebound, and it goes.
That's good effort because the first shot, Dan, by Williams, did not restart the shot clock. Right. So he made his second move with about 1 second to go on the shot clock. First shot does not draw iron. Comes up with a second one, not to be denied. Again, the bench paying big dividends for the Flames.
Sophomore from Hillside, Illinois, cannot complete the 3-point play. The bench now has 25 points for UIC. We've got a foul at the other end. Banks hit the floor very hard for the Flames, but he's okay.
Bailey with a move. 3 guys collapse on him, and as you mentioned, Banks came down awkwardly. I think he's all right. Doesn't feel too well in the morning. But David Bailey just started to take over. They're clearing out, giving him the green light to create.
.73% from the line on the season. Multiple substitutions now for both teams. Smith and Freeman return for Loyola. Cardos and Salverson are back in for UIC. One of 2, but the offensive rebound to the Ramblers. Bailey spins by Schneiderman, won't go, and rebound for Williams. Wow. Through an inadvertent elbow. No foul called as David Bailey hit the deck. Schneiderman to Cardos. Can't get the shot off. Schneiderman in the corner for 3.
Huge, big basket.
Schneiderman now with 8. David Bailey okay as he brings the ball back up the floor. And a bump, a foul is going to be called on Cedric Banks.
Bailey's just taking over. He's just creating, going to find a way to get to either the bucket or the free throw line. Clear out by Williams right here. Ouch. Trying to get Bailey off of him, and he did so. Schneiderman out of the corner. Big basket. Again, the bench just coming up big, Dan, at key junctures. Hitting some important baskets down the stretch.
And you can see how well Illinois Chicago has shot the 3, and that is their best offensive weapon. 8th in the country in 3-point shooting on the season at almost 41%.
In this game, shooting better than 50% to this point in the game from behind the arc.
Whereas the Ramblers, who don't shoot the ball from outside very well or very often, true to form here tonight, just 1 made 3 on the night. Bailey slinks inside and draws the foul before the shot. And it looks like David Bailey's starting to feel that if Loyola's going to win this game, he's going to have to do it himself.
Well, this is the stage where he can take it over, and he's certainly doing that. Larry Farmer comfortable with seeing his junior all-conference performer operate in that fashion.
It's the 6th team foul committed by UIC this half. So the next one will send the Ramblers to the line. Bailey with a game-high 24 points. Laritas back into the game for the Ramblers.
Again, once Bailey gives it up, you got to really try to deny him receiving the ball back. Can't let it be easy for him to get the return pass.
Langston with a travel. Larry Farmer can hardly bear to look right now as he turns around, takes a seat on the bench. His team down 4. Minutes to play here in Cleveland. The winner is the champion of the Horizon League and goes on to the NCAA tournament. Little, they back off of him. Cardos shouldn't back off of him. 10th in the country this year shooting the 3. Jordan Cardos, 48% from beyond the arc on the season.
Well, the three-point shot has been the big difference in this game, and Jeremy Collins' crew has used this all year long. Cardos hits the big 3. It's his first of the night.
And the largest lead of the game right now for the Flames, 59-52. Tomorrow, Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues. The Northeast Championship, 7:30 Eastern Time on ESPN2. Quinnipiac against Central Connecticut State. The Blue Devils have really had a terrific season. And then at 9:30 Eastern, Conference USA begins its tournament with a first-round game. St. Louis taking on Tulane. College Basketball Championship Week presented by 7-Up on ESPN2. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. That Conference USA tournament's going to be a big one as well. Teams like Charlotte, Louisville, Memphis, all try to, if they can't win it outright, at least do enough in the tournament to get themselves in as an at-large. And you can see Central Connecticut State, the longest winning streak in Division I, the team with the second longest streak. Western Kentucky comes up next right here on ESPN in the Sun Belt Championship. Smith, too strong for Banks, but he misses the shot. Blankson with a rebound, and he knocks it home.
That's good effort inside by Blankson. He went up against 2 defenders and found a way to come across with the ball. Full court press now.
And again, Martell Bailey's not in the game right now for UIC. Schneiderman has done a great job off the bench, getting these minutes at the point.
Ball is tipped. It'll be UIC's ball. Well, Schneiderman's offering some offensive spark as well.
Under 4 to play. 5-point lead for the Flames. Can they bring it home and head to the tournament for just the second time in school history? 59-54 UIC.
Can you hear me now? Good. Can you hear me now? Good.
Imagine if you could use all your minutes across America. Introducing America's Choice. It's a new plan from Verizon Wireless, where every minute has no roaming or long-distance charges anywhere on the America's Choice network. Sign up now and get 3,000 bonus National Night and Weekend minutes for life.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Life's a ball. If only you know it. And it's all just waiting for you.
Introducing Cool Contact Towels from Old Spice. Cool down anytime, anywhere.
There's such a lot of living. Such a lot of living. Such a lot of living to do.
Cool Contact. Splash one on.
Why do I rent from Enterprise? For more cargo room. More people room. Or more headroom. Enterprise. So easy, it's like having a second car. Or third.
Pick Enterprise. We'll pick you up.
If he throws an elbow, you hit him in the mouth!
Brian Dennehy is Bobby Knight.
What the hell are you scared of?
A season on the brink. Premieres Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
In the Ivy League, Princeton clinches the bid with a win. A Penn win creates a three-way tie. A slow, grinding defensive struggle at the Palestra here. Jan Feichel with the dunk, 19-14 as they approach halftime, guys.
Wow. The old Loyola Marymount, they're not in the Ivy League, but that's the way they play it there. And as Chris just told you, it's a huge game. Deciding the fate of Princeton, Penn, and Yale trying to get to the tournament for the first time in 40 years. Martell Bailey right now losing the battle of the Bailey brothers, but you know what? UIC's winning the war. They've got a 5-point lead under 4 to play. Martell remains on the bench. David is in the game. Schneiderman at the point having problems. Great hustle. And that could be intentional, but it's not. Just a kind of a wrap-up foul there as Loyola comes up with a turnover, and that's going to get Martell Bailey back into the game.
Yeah, great effort on the part of both teams. David almost comes up with it. Schneiderman tries to keep it alive. We got a takedown there at the free throw line, and finally Freeman comes up with it, and he's fouled by Corey Little before he can get an easy two. And you're right, because of the ball handling situation, Martell Bailey set to check back in with 3:36 remaining.
Schneiderman out. Here comes Bailey. Not scoring as much as he has been recently, but he's still got 5 assists and only 1 turnover in 23 minutes of play tonight.
Yeah, his key role is handling the basketball and running the offensive execution of the team, staying out of those double teams and not turning the ball over now. Very, very important to get the right people in the right situations now. This is where you want to find Banks so he can create.
At the other end, 2 critical misses for Freeman, who's an 80% of free throw shooter. Cardos. And the rebound to Blankson, his 14th of the night. And a foul committed by Cardos will send David Bailey to the line. And Bailey's taken a couple of shots. Remember the elbow earlier, and now he's got an extra long look at Cardos after that foul.
Well, you're right. David Bailey has taken a number of different shots. Nothing dirty about that. Just a hard-nosed play by Cardos. Not appreciated. That's the same jaw he got an elbow on earlier in the game.
Just 3:04 to play. Bailey's been tough tonight. Big minutes, not afraid to go into the paint. He's not just an outside shooter. He's done most of his damage actually getting to the bucket tonight. The lead now 4 for UIC in the championship game of the Horizon League.
Now, how do you like this? He's talking to the ref, about Martell talking junk to him. Just went to the ref, pointed at his brother. Now, this is getting serious. That's exactly what he did. They're taking it serious. Don't blame him. Understand completely. When brothers go at it, very, very unique. You got family involved.
And both of them unusually competitive from what we're told as well. They're only 15 months apart. Well, there's going to be some serious trash talking all summer by one of them. You think there's a secret side bet that we're never going to find out about, right?
I guarantee it. There's another deal that no one will talk about, but they've got something else on the line.
Cardos, a tough shot.
Know that from experience.
And spoken like a man with 3 brothers who all played collegiate athletics. 2 football, 1 baseball. Bailey.
Good defense by Banks.
Martell comes up with a loose ball. Cardos wide open on the wing. Oh, that would have been huge. Cardos has been the go-to guy offensively lately for the Flames. Clancy for 3. Tip back, no good. Langston, and a foul.
Langston with a chance for the conventional 3-point play.
Ryan Blankson, 6'6" senior out of Hillcrest, Illinois, now has 13 points and 15 rebounds tonight.
Well, he's done an outstanding job. Good second and third effort by Loyola. As you mentioned, Blankson's board work, well, it pays off. Got Dad excited. David Bailey Sr. Now, that wasn't impartial. We got that one on tape.
I don't know how he decides.
Clear Loyola. Clear Loyola slam.
Well, you said the smart thing to do is to cheer for whoever's ahead. Maybe Mrs. Riley to Mr. Bailey are cheering for whoever's behind, but they're not behind by much anymore. Thanks to Blankson, the Ramblers, they're back within 2 with 2:14 to play. More great championship week action comes your way tomorrow. It's all presented by 7-Up. It's all going to be on ESPN, and it's all coming your way from Madison Square Garden in New York, the Conagra Foods Big East Championship. No postseason tournament in the country is going to decide as much nationally as the Big East right now. BC takes on Rutgers, Georgetown, Providence. Really, BC's got hopes of being in at large. Rutgers and Georgetown feel if they get hot and can win 2 or 3, they've got a shot. Syracuse really struggling. They need a win over Villanova, and St. John's is this close to squeaking in with an at-large. The Johnnies have a very good RPI. I mean, it's going to be wild.
Georgetown, I don't think I want to get the Hoyas this time of year. They're playing very well, had some close calls in the regular season. They could be a big determining factor in that Big East tournament.
Look how Syracuse struggled down the stretch. RPI up at 61. If they can beat Villanova, they get Connecticut in the second round. It is not going to be easy for the Orangemen.
Is that a reward?
No, that's a
Absolutely
punishment.
not.
But you know what? They played themselves into that situation.
That's right.
They had a bye locked up a couple of weeks ago and let that slip away. Cardos again. Rebound Minifield. Loyola can tie or take the lead on this trip. We are under 2 minutes to go. Bailey. Beautiful feed inside, and Blankson is fouled. I still don't understand how a guy, he's listed 5'8", but he's probably 5'6" or 5'7", how he can see the floor as well as he does.
Just got a great feel for what's going to happen on the floor. He knows how to get through little crevices. Very comfortable with going between a couple of players, and that time knew exactly where his teammate was going to be. Good pass.
Blankson gets 2.
Got to make the free throws.
Loyola starting to struggle from the line. They're 12 for 20 on the night right now. Huge night for Blankson. Got a friendly roll there. It's a 1-point game. What else would it be in championship week? We have seen game after game like this in the last few days. Banks got his eye on the rim, doesn't he? And Freeman is going to pick up the foul for Loyola, and he's gone.
Kicker had inside position, and Freeman picks up the foul.
A big loss on the inside for Larry Farmer and the Ramblers.
And Kicker gets inside position. That's the key. Freeman comes over the back. You allow the offensive man to get the inside position, you're in trouble. Freeman fouls out 6 points, 5 boards for his evening's work.
And probably the only guy on that Loyola team who can actually attempt to put the body on Kicker without paying the price for it.
Well, the other thing that you don't like losing is you don't like losing that experienced senior leadership. Got to bring somebody cold off the bench into a minute 32.
And you mentioned he's a senior. How about the agony of having to sit and watch the last minute and a half, knowing that your career could be over, or if things go well, you're headed to the tournament. It's that close.
You definitely would like to be able to settle it on the floor and not sitting down watching as an observer.
Kickered at the line. Misses the front end. Kicker tonight is 1 for 4, and from the line on the season, John, he's only 6 for 25.
He's about a 25% free throw shooter, so that's about seasonal average.
If they continue to lead, he probably won't be in the game much longer. Can't afford to have him out there. Clancy, air ball on the 3. Bailey, offensive rebound. Kickard is down on the floor, got stepped on, and there's a foul before the shot. It's going to go against John Pierre Mitchum of UIC.
Loyola, Dan, is doing a good job with hitting the offensive boards. They're getting multiple opportunities now per possession. UIC must do a better job sealing them off the offensive glass. They're going to the bucket. They're going to the boards very aggressively. There's Dad again.
A little calmer now, even though his son's at the line. David just tied it up. What a night. make it 28 points. And now Loyola leads with just over a minute to go. Timeout UIC. 30-second timeout taken by the Flames. Loyola had a lead as high as 9 in the first half. UIC with a lead as high as 7 here in the second half. A whole lot closer right now.
David Bailey, well, he's done it all. He's had the nose to get to the basket. Hesitation move. Hit off-balance shots. He's passed the ball off. Everything you could ask him to do tonight for his club, he's done.
And he has been the most valuable Bailey here tonight. No question about that. But is it even enough to get Loyola into the tournament? They've got a 1-point lead. Illinois, Chicago with the ball with a minute and 11 seconds to go. Freeman has fouled out for Loyola. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. The arrow goes to the Ramblers.
The most important stat, that being the one in your lower right-hand corner, the score. That's the only one that matters. This one's going right down to the end.
Martell Bailey with the ball for UIC. Takes a bump from his brother, and another one. Gives it off to Mitchum.
Trying to post him up down low.
He is bigger and stronger. Finds Mitchum. Kicker with the rebound. Fresh 35. Mitchum for 3. UIC by 2. 5-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Minifield inside is fouled, and he'll shoot a couple. Well, what a big shot at the other end by J.P. Mitchum.
Well, Dan, the Flames have used the 3 all night long, and 31.4 seconds to go. That last bucket was huge. Still only a 1-possession game. 2 ties it. 2 free throws tie it.
Minifield 68% on the season. We talked about the 3-point shooting for the Flames. 11 for 22 on the night on the bench, which has been another big story. Exactly half, 32 of UIC's 64 points. We are tied again. 31.4 seconds to play. Jimmy Collins calls a timeout to set up what he hopes is going to be the winning shot. Don't forget, more championship week action coming your way at the top of the hour, presented by 7-Up. Sun Belt Championship, number 21 Western Kentucky, which survived in the semis last night on a thriller, taking on Louisiana Lafayette. Well, if you're UIC right now, John, you got 31 seconds. You've got the ball. What do you do?
Well, the first thing you want to do is get the ball in the areas where you're not inviting a trap. Don't receive it in the corners. Break the pressure. Spread the floor. You know you're going to get fouled. Now, Loyola's got 1 foul to give. They've got 18 fouls, so they've got 1 foul before they put them in the double bonus. Spread that floor. Look for Bailey to try to get it. This is what he does so well. Handle the pressure. Break the half-court trap. Get it across and try to get it where you're not inviting those double teams.
One problem for Martell Bailey, if he is fouled for some reason, he's not a very good free throw shooter, 55% on the season. The Flames have their problems at the line.
Now, the one thing for Loyola, you got plenty of time. You don't have to have the all-out gamble or risk where if you don't come up with a steal, you give up an easy basket. That's the one thing you don't want to do. Take your traps where you got high percentage. If you don't come up with it, then you still got time to selectively get somebody to foul, put them on the line. Plenty of time, though.
Predictably close. 2 teams which finished right beside each other, 5 and 6 in the league, split their regular season games. The battle of the Baileys and the battle of Chicago comes down to the final possession. And it'll be Martell to walk it up the floor. Smith on Martell Bailey.
Give plenty of time.
That might be the go-to guy right there, Cedric Banks.
They're going to play it all the way down the last. So if you're Loyola, don't foul now. Make them hit a basket.
Martell Bailey. Gets inside. And it's going to stay with UIC with 2.1 seconds to play after the block.
Just out of bounds. Wow. Now, the one thing you don't want is a lob inside. If you're going to give up a shot, it's got to be from the perimeter. You can't have somebody coming down the lane.
Timeout taken by Larry Farmer and Loyola. Just 2.1 seconds to play. Tied at 64. UIC is going to get the ball. And Larry Farmer wanted to make sure. I mean, he wanted to make sure he got the timeout call. Jimmy Collins wanted a foul. You're going to have to get a lot more than that in the last 2 seconds of a tie game to
Jimmy was working it.
The foul.
Not going to happen.
Let's take a look at what these two teams bring to the table here tonight. Loyola, after finishing last year and being picked preseason to finish last this year, a winning season and some quality wins as well. Illinois, Chicago, with a couple of big wins in this tournament, beating the number 2 seed and the number 3 seed to get to the championship game. They've got a chance to win it right here. Little to inbound it for the Flames. Mitchum. Overtime on the way. So Loyola staves off a couple of last opportunities by UIC, and we're headed to an extra session here in Cleveland.
Dan, good defense by Loyola. They did not allow the first or second options, which were obviously something inside. Good defense, no foul. Tough shot, desperation. No way it's going to go. We're going to get an extra 5 minutes.
So it's on to overtime with a spot in the NCAA tournament on the line. Illinois, Chicago, Loyola, Chicago, when we come back.
What do you do when your acne flares up? Ever try Murad Acne Complex? Finally, everyone can have beautiful skin with the Murad Acne Complex Kit. Call 1-800-891-0739 to order. It's like getting a 60-day free trial. Even if nothing worked before, this will work because it's different. The Murad Acne Complex is a breakthrough in acne-prone skincare. It's unbelievable, but it works. Guaranteed. Try it and see for yourself. What are you waiting for? It's guaranteed. Stop hiding. Perfect skin doesn't just happen. Murad makes it happen.
After overtime, the championship game in the Sun Belt. That's the Hilltoppers' big man, Chris Marcus. Western Kentucky, UL Lafayette from New Orleans is coming up next. Yeah.
Now Chris Marcus, one of the best big men in the country at any level, mid-major, major, you name it. Western Kentucky and Louisiana Lafayette in the championship game from New Orleans. As soon as this game is done, Terry Gannon, Larry Connolly getting ready to call the Sun Belt Championship game for you. We're headed to overtime here in the Horizon League. Dan Schulman, John Albright in Cleveland. On the campus of Cleveland State University, the Convocation Center, UIC, the Flames of the University of Illinois at Chicago, taking on the Loyola University of Chicago Ramblers. Loyola in yellow, UIC in black.
So important to get off to a good start early in overtime. Nice move by Smith. Willis Smith, nice baseline move.
Just his second basket of the night, but it's a doozy, and the Ramblers are up by 2.
He's got the defensive responsibility of stopping Martell Bailey's penetration.
Baseline, little into traffic at eastbound. If you're just tuning in now looking for the Sun Belt, one of the side stories and interesting stories of this game is the fact that the starting point guards on the two teams are brothers. David Bailey, a junior for Loyola, first team All-League, 28 points tonight. Martell Bailey, sophomore for UIC, a quieter night, just 3 points, but 6 assists and only 1 turnover. And Martell is a bit more of a distributor, and David is a lot more of a scorer, so it's kind of gone according to form here tonight. David Bailey, first team all league for the second year in a row. 5'8", 160 pounds, averages 21 points per game.
Full court man pressure, not high risk. And once David Bailey gives it up, Cedric Banks has really kind of tried to deny the return pass.
Langston going to work on Kickert, who's playing with 4 fouls. Now Bailey sizing up Banks, his former high school teammate. Doesn't get the finish. Banks the rebound, and he hits the floor hard again, and he's called for a traveling violation. Adding insult to injury.
That's 2 or 3 times we've seen Banks hit the deck hard. Bailey does everything but finish here. Nice move. Didn't get it to go. Actually got Kickert. May have knocked him off balance just enough where he hits the deck.
So it's Loyola ball again. Clancy with Martell Bailey on him. David Bailey way out of the play right now. Can't get him the ball. Langston dumps it down. Fadeaway jumper. Midfield no. Rebound Mitchum. Martell Bailey brings it over. Here's the leading scorer for the Flames, Cedric Banks. 14 a game this year, 15 tonight. He's a lefty, and Clancy cuts him off. Well, they're running down the shot clock each and every time.
Show a lot of patience, trying to get a high percentage look.
Not there for Banks. Bailey inside to Kickert with 1 second left on the shot clock. They draw the foul.
Nice execution. Again, penetration by Bailey. Gets it over to Kickert. That's the good news. Larry Farmer intently watching on. He has not spent much time sitting down, but very active on the sidelines. But Kickert's got to find a way to make some free throws.
Yeah, 6 for 25 on the season. Looked pretty good there.
Much better arch. That was a softer shot. Bent his knees and a little more arch, softer free throw that time.
Sun Belt Championship right after us. Louisiana Lafayette and Western Kentucky. Terry Gannon, Larry Connolly in New Orleans as Kickert improbably makes a couple of free throws. Under 3 to play, UIC by a couple.
High screen again, trying to get some kind of isolation for Bailey where he can penetrate, create.
Penetrates high off the glass, no good, but he's fouled.
Kickert came right across with a hard foul.
And that will be all for Kickert. He becomes the first Flame to foul out. Freeman already out of the game for the Ramblers as we send you back to the studio and rejoin Chris Fowler for an update.
Well, Dan, just about set for tip-off in New Orleans, Western Kentucky, one of the best teams you never see on TV. 7 straight wins against UL Lafayette for the automatic bid from the Sun Belt Conference as soon as we're done in Cleveland. We'll keep you posted in the meantime.
All right, Chris, thank you. Back here, we've got 2:34 to play in overtime. Kyle Kickert, the big man in the middle for UIC, has just fouled out. A guy who doesn't start, but he's given them some huge minutes off the bench in every game in this tournament. And now Armand Williams is going to check back in for the Flames. So they're going to be a much, much smaller team.
Plenty of time. Both teams have played a lot of players, so you've still got some energy left from the guys on the floor because you went 9-10 deep through much of the first half, so fatigue should not be a factor at this point.
David Bailey, 8 for 9 from the line tonight. He makes the first. There's Dad. You can see the T-shirt he's got. Got Martell and David on the T-shirt. Split it right down the middle.
Shame we don't have Mom and Dad's pulse rate at this stage. This is when it's really tough to be a parent.
1 of 2 for David Bailey, and a 1-point lead for the Flames as Martell brings it over again. Mitchum's made some big shots tonight. One of the key bench contributors for Jimmy Collins. Bailey 31-point game again. Boy, is he tough. 31 points for David Bailey.
How about that 5'6", 5'7" guy going inside, posting up with a little shot.
They're spreading the floor and clearing out beautifully to give him a little space. Martell Bailey. Yes! Unbelievable. He doesn't have a single field goal for the first 42 minutes tonight, and now he comes up with back-to-back buckets in OT.
Well, the Bailey brothers have been big the last couple of possessions. Martell not to be outdone by his bigger brother. Tough move, concentration. Hits the bucket, and he'll have a chance to add to the three-point lead.
Martell at the line. He's the younger brother, the sophomore. They're 15 months apart. Can't get it to go. Here comes Clancy. Loyola with the ball, but down 3. Still a ton of time. David Bailey's got it again.
Really got trying to find a way to make him shoot a perimeter shot. Yeah. He's just really creating problems inside.
33. He's just spinning and twisting and somehow finding room.
He's put on a show, that's for sure.
33 points for David Bailey. Will it be enough? Martell Bailey has driven and scored each of his last 2 times down the floor as we near the final minute of overtime. Shot clock at 7. Mitchum looking for help. Elevates. No. Rebound midfield. Loyola can take the lead. Bailey. Lewis Smith. Floater in the lane. Yes. And a timeout on the floor with 43 seconds to play. UIC with the ball, but they are down 1. Back-to-back baskets, first by David Bailey, then by Lewis Smith. Loyola on top. 43 seconds to go in OT.
From participating airlines when you stay at any Choice hotel in the U.S. and the Caribbean. And you'll also get the chance to enter our 2 million mile giveaway. One lucky traveler will win 1 million miles, and 10 people will win 100,000 miles. Sounds like it's a good time to hit the road. For reservations, call 1-800-4CHOICE.
I feel good. Who am I playing?
John McEnroe.
Oh, man. Hey, Mike. Hey, you're gonna take it easy on me, right? No. I'll give you $1. What can you do with $1? You can dial 10-10-220.
All calls up to 20 minutes are 99 cents.
Really?
And 7 cents a minute after 20.
20 minutes for 99 cents?
Is that a good deal?
What? You can't be serious. It's a great deal. I like this guy. Forgot this one.
Dial 10-10-220.
Hi, I'm Janet Babb, and I'm a volcanologist.
To study volcanoes, Janet Babb has to take chances.
An eruption can occur at any time. These lava flows are over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The main thing is to not get surrounded.
But would Janet Babb ever take a chance on car insurance without a State Farm agent?
Car insurance? With no State Farm agent? I wouldn't touch that.
When it comes to car insurance, be like this State Farm customer and get an agent who'll be there for you.
I think my shoes are melting.
Plus competitive rates.
Janet, what about my shoes?
At the Sunbet Final in New Orleans, Western Kentucky off quickly. It's Hodor Hendon with the shot. Hilltoppers, winners of 17 in a row, have the early lead over UL Lafayette. We'll get you out there when we're done in Cleveland.
It could be done in 43 seconds, as this guy's telling you. Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues next year on ESPN from the Big Easy as the Battle of the Baileys intensifies here in overtime.
Martell's come up big, particularly in overtime. David not to be outdone. 33 points for David Bailey in this game. He's done a little of everything.
Martell with only 7, but 4 of them in overtime, and still just 1 turnover now in 30 minutes tonight for Martell Bailey.
6 assists to go along with it. 1 turnover.
UIC with the ball down by a point. 8 seconds between the game clock and the shot clock.
Ideally, you're looking for a situation where you're driving to the basket, putting some pressure on the defense.
That's what Bailey's trying to do, but he gets an offensive foul called against him.
Smith. Let's take a look. Wow, looked like he's still moving. Tough call. Got the right idea. Still 21.4 seconds to go. A lot of time. Again, you don't want to gamble too much and give up an easy basket by trying to come up with a quick steal if it's not there. Again, both Baileys have had important games in their own ways.
Yep.
We talked at the outset, Martell, it's important for him to be the distributor. 6 assists, 1 turnover. David, on the other hand, he came in averaging better than 21 points per outing. Well, he's certainly done his part. 30-plus points. And the offensive leader has come up with the big baskets down the stretch.
It was UIC that had 2 chances, actually, at the end of regulation to try to win it. Shot was blocked, knocked out of bounds, and they couldn't get a shot off before the end of regulation. In overtime, UIC had a 3-point lead, but Loyola with the last 2 baskets, one by David Bailey, one by Lewis Smith. Now Lewis Smith just taking the charge. So Larry Farmer's team has the ball in the lead with 21 seconds to go. Into the hands of David Bailey, knocked out of bounds by Martell. And it remains with the Ramblers. As we remind you again, Championship Week presented by 7-Up continues. Sun Belt Championship as soon as this game is done. Bailey, oh, a dangerous play. Martell's got it. UIC leads. Now it hit the bottom or the back of the backboard, I believe. And whose ball is it going to be?
I think they'll talk about it and go the other way. I think Bailey actually ricocheted off. I think it was deflected by Martell. I think the officials will talk about it. Let's take a look. This is the steal. The trap. Dangerous pass. Martell comes up with it and the basket. Take a look. Yeah, see that ricocheted right off Martell's hand.
Wow, it's going to be Illinois-Chicago getting the ball. So the officials decided it did not hit Martell Bailey. What a turn of events. David Bailey's got the ball. He turns it over to his brother, who comes up with the layup, and then he's charged with another turnover, throwing it off the back of the backboard, and now UIC is in control.
Again, we'll take a look at it. Let's see if Martell deflects that pass. He's going to go over there. He's going to come back over to Clancy. Yep, sure did.
Sure.
Wow.
Yep.
Should have been Loyola's ball. That's what I thought initially. Wow. Again, here it is right there. Absolutely. Now, when it hit the underside of the backboard, that's when it was dead.
Larry Farmer speaking with official Rick Hartzell. Now Jimmy Collins wants an explanation. I don't know if they've overturned this call or not, but both coaches are out at center court. They may have overturned this, John. We're going to have to wait and see.
Well, absolutely, it clearly should be Loyola's basketball. No doubt about that. Now, whether or not they're able to get it corrected, they're still talking about it. Yeah. Now, that's not a reviewable play per the monitor. So they can talk about it. It's still a dead ball, so they can still change the call. And again, clearly, that ball touched Martell Bailey, ricocheted off the under part of the backboard. At that point, it's dead.
And it appears they have overturned the call. It is Loyola's ball. Rick Hartzell has changed the call along with Tom Clark and Eugene Crawford during the timeout. They put their heads together.
They got the right call.
They got the right call, and that's the most important thing. Loyola gets the ball back. Down 1, 94 feet to go, 13 seconds to play.
Both teams in the double bonus, so if you foul, you're going to get 2 free throws.
Clancy to inbound it. They can't get it to Bailey. They need help. And a hold is called. Oh, boy. Banks called for holding David Bailey.
The drama continues.
What a remarkable final few seconds of overtime.
Well, clearly, UIC had the right idea. Somebody else other than David Bailey needs to receive the basketball. Yeah, they're doing everything they can. They're draped all over Bailey.
There it is.
Wow. Trying to, again, just deny that entry pass.
Bailey 73% on the season, missed one of two about a minute ago. That'll tie it.
Now we'll see if Jimmy Collins elects to let his crew take it down, not allow the defense time to get set, or does he call the timeout and go over the play?
He's got one remaining.
Yeah, I think he wants a timeout. We will see.
Has not started as the ball was kicked away, and a timeout is called by UIC, their final one. And once again, UIC will have the ball. 13 seconds to play, full timeout. The Flames with a chance to win it. They had two chances at the end of regulation when the game was tied, couldn't do it. And boy, what both of these coaches, what all of these players are going through, as you can see the Raging Cajuns getting back into it, down by 2 now to Western Kentucky. We'll send you to New Orleans as soon as this one is done. The Sun Belt Conference Championship. You've got an Illinois-Chicago team that's only been to the tournament once ever as an at-large 4 years ago. You've got a Loyola team which prior to this year hadn't had a winning season in 15 years and hasn't been to the tournament in 17 years. So these are two schools, to be frank and fair, without a lot of postseason tradition recently. Loyola, of course, you go back to '63, won the national championship, but for both of these schools, this current version of these two teams, this is huge right now.
Well, both teams hungry for another opportunity at postseason. And I think if you're UIC, you're looking for some kind of penetration. Again, put the pressure on the defense. We've already seen one foul called at the other end.
Yep.
Put some pressure on, then you got to hit the glass. Got to aggressively go to the boards.
There's the improvement for Larry Farmer and the Ramblers this season, picked by league coaches and media to finish last in the Horizon League before the year. Here they are 13 seconds away from winning the conference tournament. Is it going to be Martell Bailey, who's already driven and scored twice in overtime? Is he going to try to do it himself?
Now, 10 team fouls on Loyola, so UIC in the double bonus.
Pressure on the ball. Good shooters at every position for the Flames, who have their smallest lineup of the game in there right now. Bailey, Little, Banks over Clancy. Yes! 4 seconds left. No
Still enough
timeouts.
time. Still enough time to get a shot off.
Clancy forces it up. No! UIC's going to the tournament. A remarkable overtime session here in Cleveland. Despite a heroic effort from David Bailey, 35 points for the Ramblers. It's Martell Bailey and the Flames of UIC who are headed to the NCAA tournament, John, for just the second time in school history.
Well, UIC went to their go-to guy, Cedric Banks, Dan, and he delivers a big-time shot. Banks, who's a left-hander, gets it. It's going to spin right to his left. Baseline shot, up and over Clancy. And that is the slimmest of margins, but that's what finally did it.
Boy, some kind of game here tonight with more twists and turns just in the last couple of minutes than you normally see in an entire game. A jubilant Jimmy Collins and the UIC Flames are headed to the big dance as champions of the Horizon League. Final score, Illinois-Chicago 76, Loyola-Chicago 75. For John Albright, I'm Dan Shulman. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed it. Now back to the studio again. Here's Chris Fowler.
And that's what championship week is about as far as the Bailey brothers. David has the big stats. Martell has the clutch hoops down the stretch. And more importantly, he has the W. And the Flames in a thriller in overtime, beating the rivals from across city, Loyola of Chicago. Next up, the Sun Belt. He'll